Welcome to Civ Stories, where we explore alternatives to history through the lens of the world's most addictive video game. Games are played on Deity, no challenges. Generally, I don't use mods or game modes except for Sucretax Oceans. A great game is epic and tells a story. It has a history, all condensed down into 20 minutes. Along the way, you can learn tips and tricks on how to be a better Civ player, as well as strategies on how to play specific civilizations. Today, we're looking at the game I played as Alexander of Macedon. Again, to increase the level of political complexity, I played this game on a huge Earth map, but not with the true start locations. Okay, here we go. I didn't like the look of my starting tile and wanted to take immediate advantage of those furs, so I decided to settle my capital on turn 2. In 3960 BC, we were the first civilization to meet Granada. In 3880 BC, we were the first civilization to meet Valletta. With our discovery of Ubunsur Hollow in 3600 BC, it became apparent that we occupied the lands of the Northern Asians, or present-day Russia, from an alternative historical timeline. In 3520 BC, we met Wilfrid Laurier of Canada. Also that year, we met Frederick of Germany, and Lady Six Guy of the Maya. In 3280 BC, we met Pachacuti of the Inca. In 3200 BC, we met Swifthawk of the Mapuche. In 3040 BC, Macedon founded its second city, Alexandria. In 3000 BC, we met Matthias Corvinus of Hungary. In 2320 BC, for our pantheon, we chose God of the Open Sky. By 2280 BC, our emissaries brought back news that Hungary and the Inca were at war. For the classical era, we chose Free Inquiry as our dedication. In 1960 BC, we met Montezuma of the Aztecs. It required a lot of manpower, but in 1920 BC, the sacrifice to disperse a barbarian encampment in the north would prove to be worth the effort. In 1800 BC, we became suzerain of Granada. By 1560 BC, our tiny empire was barely sticking together and Alexandria's loyalty was flipping from the population pressure of our neighbors. It forced us to relinquish suzerainty over Granada in order to place a governor there. In 1440 BC, we built our first Basilikoi Paides, showing off our unique military culture to the world. Soon, it would help us win lands for the growing number of Macedonian Greeks. In 1280 BC, Macedonian Greeks introduced their hetairoi to the world. In 1160 BC, after our discovery of political philosophy, we chose our Tier 1 government and became an oligarchy. By 1040 BC, the Mapuche had captured Valletta, where our governor Amani had been stationed, hoping to help Macedonia become their suzerain. German and Macedonian Greek troops had been gathering around the border between Pella and Dortmund. When an unaccompanied German settler tried to walk through Greek lands, it set a war in motion. In 975 BC, we levied Granada's troops to help us in our conquest of Germania. That same year, with our German slaves, we founded the Macedonian town of Pydna. In 925 BC, we introduced the world to our Hypaspist. By 875 BC, the Mapuche lost control of Valletta. That year, Macedonian troops captured the city of Dortmund. By 850 BC, the Maya were extending their territory by capturing the city-state of Singapore. In 725 BC, Macedonian troops captured the German city of Cologne. We entered the medieval era in a golden age and chose the monumentality dedication. In 675 BC, the Mapuche came to us with a profitable deal that involved a declaration of war against the Maya, which we accepted. In 625 BC, we met Eleanor of France, Dido of Phoenicia, and Gutarja of Indonesia. In 575 BC, Macedonian troops captured the German capital city of Aachen. In 525 BC, we met Tamar of Georgia. In 425 BC, the Aztecs razed our vassal city-state Granada to the ground. Not cool, Monty. Not cool. In 400 BC, Macedonian troops took the city of Berlin, ending the game for Frederick and the Germans. Looking to stretch the influence of our empire and build over the ruins of Granada, in 175 BC, we bought a settler in the city of Dortmund. In 75 BC, Macedonians founded the city of Alexandria Prothesia. After conquering Germania, our empire now stretched across Asia into Europe, bordering 5 other nations. Our war against the Maya was more about defending our borders since they were technologically superior to us. It was also important to keep the war going since, with our suzerainty over the state of Wolin, with every military victory, we earned great general points and our key focus was now on a great general recruitment. In 1 AD, we achieved our goal and recruited the great general Amina. Despite being outmatched technologically, there was an opportunity to potentially capture Singapore from the Maya. In order to do so, we put our military through a swift period of modernization. In 75 AD, we met Harald Hardrada of Norway. In 150 AD, the Macedonian army walked into Singapore and took the city. In 175 AD, our commercial hub in Pydna and our dispersal of a barbarian camp near our capital helped Macedon to stave off a dark age. In 225 AD, we met Queen Victoria of England. For the Renaissance era, we chose the monumentality dedication. When the city-state of Samarkand somehow came upon a second settler, which they then left out in the open, it was an opportunity we could not pass up. Although by 375 AD, with their lands so far from ours, we had no plans to invade the city-state, we declared war. In 425 AD, we liberated our former vassal city-state of Valletta from the Maya. In spite of the benefits of its suzerain bonus, we decided to keep the city and integrate it into our expanding empire. With our army now exhausted and stretched, it was also time to make peace with Lady Six Guy and regroup. The Mapuche city of Mapu was on the wrong side of the mountains for us and was also causing loyalty issues in the cities on the fringes of our empire. With our army still healing itself after the war against the Maya, we turned right around and declared war on the Mapuche in 450 AD. In 540 AD, Macedonian forces captured the Mapuche city of Mapu. With our army so stretched, loyalty problems in most of our conquered cities, and a new barbarian problem around our capital, it seemed inevitable that our empire would begin to collapse, though none of our neighbors were experiencing a golden age, such as the fate of Civ players on deity that a normal age is essentially a dark age. That same year, stretching our empire even further eastward, Macedonian Greeks founded the city of Ayagai. With so much defensive terrain surrounding the core cities of the Mapuche Empire, penetrating deeper into their lands looked impossible. We had, however, managed to contain them and cut off their own expansion. In 580 AD, with our discovery of divine right, we chose our Tier 2 government and became a monarchy. With our southern border secured and loyalty becoming less of an issue with every turn, we negotiated a favorable peace deal with the Mapuche. It was time now to focus on eastern expansion. Zanzibar is a nice city-state to rule over, but Matthias was their suzerain and we were not about to spend envoys to control her. In 780 AD, we declared war on the city-state. In 840 AD, reserve troops dispersed the barbarian encampment north of our capital that had been plaguing us for centuries. Moments later, our main army captured the city-state of Zanzibar. Also that year, with our eyes set upon acquiring living space currently occupied by Canada, we denounced Wilfrid Laurier. In 960 AD, the Aztecs unilaterally targeted me in a military emergency for our capture of the German city of Dortmund. That seems like a flimsy pretext to start a military emergency, but because my main army was focused on advancing into Canada, I was short on troops in the area. I was also now staring down the barrel of a potential industrial era dark age. Something drastic needed to be done. Although Matthias Corvinus and Laurier were friendly, it seems that Matthias and I were even more friendly, and I convinced him to join me in a war against Canada. Our main army laid siege to Montreal and captured the city in 1010 AD. Meanwhile, in the west, a small band of reserves dug in to repel the Aztec troops who advanced past the city of Colon, headed toward Dortmund. By 1030 AD, Hungary's Black Army was advancing on the Canadian capital city of Ottawa. Though we were brothers in the fight, we were determined to take the spoils for ourselves. We entered the industrial era in a dark age and chose to reform the coinage dedication. In 1090 AD, our forces captured the Canadian capital city by the shores of Lake Baikal, fetching numerous eureka's and inspirations in the process. The problem now, with so many cities on the brink of revolt, was how to hold them. Aztec cavalry and loyalty problems in the west also had us concerned, but it was our eastern military expansion that seemed most pressing, so we fought on. In 1160 AD, despite its high population, we lost control of Singapore. That same year, our eastern march continued as our forces captured the Canadian city of Victoria. Settlers of ours had spent way more than 40 years out in the desert near the Rainbow Mountain hoping to found a city. Now, with the influence of Canada's government mostly subdued, it was finally time as they founded the Macedonian Greek city of Methoni. By 1170 AD, our army was needed elsewhere. It was time to make peace with Canada. In order to keep the loyalty in my Canadian provinces, it was necessary to take a bite out of the Mapuche. It was also important to do so while I was in a dark age when the Mapuche would be weak against my army. Once again, I recruited Matthias Corvinus and Hungary to join us. In 1250 AD, together we declared war. In 1260 AD, our western reserves took back the free city of Singapore. In 1280 AD, we won the military emergency against us. We had also lost control of Valletta. In 1320 AD, we took back Valletta. Its position was now a key strategic point since it represented our only way to access Niger. We'd forgotten that we had been at war with Samarkand for almost 1,000 years. At this point, being at war just didn't seem worth it, so we made peace. Though our Western Empire was under threat, Aztec forces kept racing toward Dortmund. Needing to pass Cologne to get there, their troops kept running into my defenses and got nowhere fast. In 1340 AD, we dispersed another of the northern barbarian encampments that had caused us so much grief during this dark era. Our invasion into Mapuche lands did not go as planned. When Swift Hawk offered us peace terms, we accepted them. In 1370 AD, we crossed the fabled Western Ocean and met Pedro II of Brazil and John Curtin of Australia. After sending more forces to the Western Front, we were able to fend off the Aztecs invasion. It was now time to investigate the possibility of seizing their lands and adding them to the Macedonian Empire. In 1390 AD, we met Shaka of the Zulu. A series of dramatic military victories on the outskirts of Cologne put our empire on track to experience a modern-era heroic age. When we built our first military academy in Dortmund in 1430, it put us over the line. Also that year, the Canadian city of Winnipeg flipped to free cities. In 1440 AD, we met Lincoln of America. In 1450 AD, Montezuma offered us favorable peace terms. We could do a lot with all of that money, so we accepted. In 1460 AD, looking to grab the free city of Winnipeg before it succumbed to pressure from the Inca, and to put Canada out of its misery altogether, we declared war once again on Wilfrid Laurier. The industrial era was a difficult period, but we had kept most of our empire intact. Although Singapore flipped to free cities several times, by the end of the era it was back under our control. We also entered the modern era in a heroic age. This would be the era that Macedonian Greeks would step into the light on the world stage. We chose Heartbeat of Steam, Reform the Coinage, and Two Arms as our modern era dedications. With the dawn of the modern era, it appeared that Montezuma changed up his own approach to the game and decided to go on a mass religious conversion spree. Wow. In 1500 AD, Macedonian forces captured the free city of Winnipeg. In 1505, we met Jadwiga of Poland. Moments later, we met João of Portugal. Moments after that, Hamilton flipped to free cities, putting Wilfrid Laurier and Canada out of the game. In 1535, Macedonian troops captured the Georgian city of Akhalkalaki. In 1555, the former Canadian city of Hamilton held a referendum and decided to join the Macedonian Empire. In 1560 AD, Macedonian Greeks founded the oil refining outpost of Alexandria and Arachosia on the eastern side of the Ural mountain range. 5 years later, Macedonians founded the Arctic outpost of Chaldiki. In 1585, Macedonian Greeks built the first national park to protect the beauty around the Ural Mountains. In 1590, Macedonian troops captured the Georgian city of Caspi. In 1605 AD, Macedonian Greeks founded the town of Alexandretta. In 1615, our forces captured the Georgian city of Batumi. Troops had been amassing along the border between Winnipeg and the Incan city of Ayaviri. In 1620, we declared a Golden Age war against Pachacuti. By 1630, a long-standing grievance with Dido, part of a military emergency against us that I was barely aware of, culminated with her sneaking tanks in towards Singapore that were headed north to liberate the Georgian city of Akhalkalaki. In 1640, we finished third at the World's Fair and took silver tier rewards. Eleanor of France topped the list and was way out in front of the pack. She controlled most of Africa and her might was now evident. We would need to bite into that lead someday if we had any hope of winning this game. Also by that year, the Georgian Arctic town of Tsageri had flipped to free cities. In 1645, Macedonian troops captured the Incan city of Ayaviri. That same year, our Western army captured the Georgian city of Gori. Aztec lands, most notably the city of Zempoala, was driving a wedge into the loyalty of our conquered cities in the west. The first step in rectifying the situation was to make peace with Tamar of Georgia. We had conquered enough of her lands. The rest could wait. When our forces made landfall on the northern coast of Aztec lands in 1665, we declared war. However, that year, our eastern forces lost control of Ayaviri. Soon after that, our western forces lost control of Gori. 5 years later, they recaptured the city and then razed it to the ground. In 1680, the former Georgian Arctic outpost of Tsageri joined the Macedonian Empire. In 1685, after our discovery of suffrage, we chose our Tier 3 government and became a democracy. In 1695, we won the military emergency against us to free Akhalkalaki and ensured for the Macedonian Empire an atomic and second consecutive Golden Age. Our plan to attack the Aztecs from the northern European shore failed. It prompted a retreat from the area. Those forces would get redeployed to our western front and prepare for an assault from the east. For our Atomic Era Golden Age dedication, we chose Heartbeat of Steam. Tamar was looking to resettle the area around the ruins of Gori. We couldn't have that. If anything, that area should be settled by Macedonians. We declared a surprise war on Georgia in 1705. That same year, our Eastern Army captured the Incan city of Chucuito. In 1710, Ayaviri flipped back to the Inca. In 1715, Macedonians set sail for the first time. Hey, we were locked on a wide parcel of land. Give us a break. In 1750, Macedonia's Eastern Army captured the Incan capital city of Cusco. In 1755, after researching class struggle, we changed our government and became communists. In 1760, our eastern forces recaptured the city of Ayaviri. By then we realized we were at war with many people and really didn't need to be, so we made peace with the Maya, Indonesia, and Norway. All of it done in the spirit of brotherhood, and when I say brotherhood, I mean helping the economy and balancing the budget. In 1770, Macedonian Greeks recruited the engineering talents of Sergei Korolev. Also that year, our Western Army had a major breakthrough in the war against the Aztecs when, after decades of intense fighting around the city of Zempoala, they finally captured the city. In 1790, Macedonian Greeks built the Bolshoi Theater in the city of Amphipolis. That year, their Eastern Army also captured the Incan city of Wilkawaman. In 1795, Macedonians founded the Arctic outpost of Ayani. In 1804, the Western Army captured the Aztec city of Teotihuacan. In 1806, the Eastern Army made further inroads into Incan territory by capturing Huánuco. In 1814, now armed with rocket artillery, our Western Army stormed into the heart of Aztec lands and captured their capital city of Tenochtitlan. That year, Macedonian Greeks completed their Manhattan Project. Though it happened quietly, it would later prove to be one of history's most pivotal events. Also that year, the Eastern Army captured the Incan city of Kitukara. In 1820, the Western Army captured the Aztec city of Tlacopan, while the Eastern Army captured the Mapuche city of Mapu. By 1824, the Incan Empire was on the verge of total collapse, losing the loyalty of two of its island cities in the Paracas Bay. That same year, our Western Army captured the Aztec-controlled former city-state of Armagh. 2 years later, they captured the young city of Malinalco, and that same year, the Eastern Army captured the Mapuche city of Picun Mapu. At the end of that year, Chan Chan, the last of Pachacuti's cities, flipped to free cities, and the Inca were out of the game. In 1828, the Eastern Army captured Ngulu Mapu. By 1830, the Mapuche had lost control of Ollantaytambo. That year, the Eastern Army captured the Mapuche city of Nagmapu, and the Western Army captured the Georgian city of Rustavi. In 1832, the Eastern Army captured the Mapuche city of Wrangell Mapu. 2 years later, our Western Army captured the Aztec city of Texcoco. By now, we had bloodlust coursing through our veins, and we declared war on Dido and Phoenicia, which also put us at war with Lady Six Guy and the Maya soon after. It was looking like we were never going to take over the world quickly enough, and that a victory through space was our only option. Rather than lose out on the opportunity, we paid to recruit the talents of Werner von Braun in 1836. Soon after, our Eastern Army captured the Mapuche city of Mamu Mapu. In 1838, they captured Pual Mapu. In 1840, Macedonian Greeks launched their Earth satellite into space, and, upon researching optimization imperative, chose their Tier 4 government and became a synthetic technocracy. That year, our Western Army extended our influence into North Africa when it captured the Phoenician city of Beruta. By the end of that year, Montezuma's influence was no longer strong enough to carry on, and the Aztecs were no more. Though they were now just a part of history, they were a determined band of warriors who drastically slowed our expansion and prevented our takeover of the entire world. They were a worthy enemy that ought not to be forgotten. At the start of the Information Era, the Maya, Mapuche, and French allied in a military emergency against us to free the Mapuche city of Mamu Mapu. We entered the Information Era in a golden age and chose the automaton warfare dedication. Right away, our Eastern Army made an amphibious assault in the Mapuche city of Penimapu and captured the city, ending the game for Swifthawk and the Mapuche. A look at the leaderboard, and the French were threatening to win this game. Our Western Army captured the former Aztec city of Teayo. In 1846, the former Incan island town of Chanchan agreed to join Macedon. That year, a portion of our Western Army captured the Maya-controlled former city-state of Hunza. By 1848, the French looked to make a serious advance upon my cities. Oh my. In 1850, Macedonian Greeks launched their moon landing. That year, our forces also captured the Mayan cities of Palenque and Coba. By that year, Eleanor's Court of Love had claimed the city of Beruta from us, but our forces captured the nearby Phoenician city of Tyre. The French were getting serious, building a stronghold around Beruta. They were the masters of Africa, and they looked determined to keep it free of Macedonian influence. In 1854, our Western Reserve forces captured the Georgian city of Kutaisi. Our forces in the Middle East captured the Mayan city of Chichen Itza. By now, we were also learning about the history of the Zulu and how their civilization had succumbed to the forces of our friends, Australia. In 1856, we won the World Games, taking home gold tier rewards. In 1858, our forces in the Middle East captured the Mayan capital city of Wak Kabnal. That year, Macedonian Greeks also launched their Mars colony, and then, using the talents of Sergei Korolev, promptly sent out their exoplanet expedition. However, we were still trailing Eleanor and the French. In order to win, drastic action would need to be taken. In 1860, Macedonian forces captured the Mayan city of Tikal. In 1862, they captured Uxmal and the Georgian city of Tsikhanvali. In 1866, our troops captured the city of Kaminaljuyu, which ended the game for Lady Six Guy and the Maya. 11 civilizations to go. In 1868, we captured Lepuqui and recaptured Beruta. Now that we had captured the mausoleum of Halicarnassus, Sergei Korolev had an extra charge, which we used to build a laser station. Eleanor was still in the lead, but not by much. Their spacecraft was still traveling at 1 light year per turn. We would overtake them shortly. In 1870, Macedonian Greeks founded the city of Alexandria in the Caucasus. In 1872, our forces recaptured the former Phoenician capital city of Tyre. That year, they also captured the French city of Toulouse. We were finally biting into the mighty French Empire. Eleanor was putting almost 400 gold per turn on the table to end the war. But no. Somehow, I felt that was not what this game was all about. After capturing the French-controlled former Mayan city of Copan in 1874 and the Phoenician city of Ugarit in 1876, I began to think to myself, what is this game all about? I took a long, hard look in the mirror. I could build more laser stations and speed off to a science victory while politely removing French death robots from my territory and crawling my army inch by inch into Africa. But I'd played that scenario out too many times. Subconsciously, and I so rarely do this, I had built a stockpile of WMDs.
Is that the whole point of the doomsday machine is lost? If you keep it a secret, why didn't you tell the world, eh?
In 1876, we decided to drop one on the French city of Lyon. Wearing the skin of Alexander the Great, you know what? Felt pretty good. I feel that he would have approved. I liked this new feeling of using my nuclear stockpile. We dropped a second bomb on the French island city of Calais in 1878. That year, we also recaptured the French city of Toulouse. We also captured the Georgian capital city of Tbilisi. In 1880, our forces captured the French city of Rennes. Moments later, we dropped the bomb on the French capital of Paris. This felt good. This felt right. We dropped the bomb again, this time on Rouen. Oh, and then we did it again to the city of Bordeaux. In 1882, one of our tanks made it through the Central African exclusion zone and captured the French-controlled former city-state of Venice. Our giant death robot captured the ruined city of Lyon. Both cities were razed to the ground. Bordeaux suffered a similar fate, as did Rouen. Soon after, we dropped the bomb on the French-controlled former Mayan city of Calakmul. 2 years later, our robots of death captured Paris. Caring little about the cultural treasures it contained, we would have razed it to the ground if we could, but alas, it had to become part of the Macedonian Empire. Victoria had long been lost to history, but that didn't mean we couldn't destroy her former cities. Plymouth, resting at the foot of Mount Kilimanjaro, received the bomb in 1884. The city was then promptly razed to the ground. Moments later, we bombed Sheffield, destroying our own great general in the process. Wow. Soon after, our troops captured the island city of Carthage and razed it to the ground. Our helicopters flew into Sheffield and then razed it to the ground. Also that year, one of our robots captured the Georgian city of Tel Aviv, ending the game for Tamar and the Georgians. In 1886, our forces captured Calakmul and razed it to the ground. Soon after, we dropped the bomb on London. Moments later, we did the same to Cahokia. Our forces moved in, captured the city, and, you guessed it, razed the French-controlled former city-state to the ground. Also that year, we built a national park near the city of AlexanDr. We had turned Africa into a crater, but there was no reason why we couldn't nurture the beauty of the cities that we had founded, because, balance. Checking the leaderboard, and we realized that Hungary were at risk of stealing a diplomatic victory. They had been our friends for most of history, but by now, our reputation in the world was so sullied and we had a growing stockpile of nuclear weapons. What to do? In 1888, we captured the Phoenician island city of Byblos and razed it to the ground. In 1890, our forces captured London. Like Paris 6 years earlier, because it had once been a capital city, though we had no use for the Sydney Opera House, we were forced to keep it. Calais, on the other hand, once we finally captured it, we razed to the ground. Matthias was leading the climate accords competition, which would earn him 2 more diplomatic victory points. He was treading on very thin ice. In 1892, we captured the French island city of Boulogne, and for some reason that one we kept. Then we captured Bradford and kept it too. I guess I figured radiation poisoning had killed enough of my troops. That's when we discovered that France had lost contact with its space capsule. Moments later, we captured the Phoenician Arctic outpost of Ziz and razed it to the ground. After purchasing a small army with faith, we were ready to go to war with Hungary. In 1894, we captured the Hungarian city of Esztergom. Also that year, our carriers crossed the ocean to the American shore and dropped the bomb on Washington. The race was now on to see how many nuclear bombs I could build and how many cities I could destroy. In 1896, our forces captured the Hungarian city of Miskolc. Moments later, we dropped the bomb on Dieu. Also that year, one of our robots of death walked into the Phoenician island city of Lixus and razed it to the ground. In 1898, one of our robots captured the French island city of Marseille, which we eventually razed to the ground. Also that year, we founded the city of Alexandria by the Latmus over the fallout from the ruins that were once Cahokia and Bordeaux. In 1900, our troops captured the city of Győr and Pest. Moments later, we dropped the bomb on the Hungarian capital city of Buda. Also that year, our Atlantic fleet dropped the bomb on the American city of Houston. We then captured the city and razed it to the ground. Philadelphia received the bomb next. We were ready to do the same to San Diego, but because their city touched the border with Brazil, it would have meant declaring war on Pedro II. Let San Diego be for now. Instead, we bombed Charleston. Soon after, one of our robots captured the Phoenician island city of Saburton, ending the game for Dido and Phoenicia. We decided to raze the city. In 1901, one of our robots captured Philadelphia and razed it to the ground. Moments later, our troops in the east captured the Hungarian capital city of Buda. Soon after, we dropped the bomb on Pache. Also that year, our forces in Africa captured the French-controlled former Indonesian city of Mataram. Macedonian Greeks, now with space on the African continent to settle, founded the city of Alexandria Eshate over the ruined city of Venice. In 1902, hoping to destroy more cities, we declared war on Pedro II in Brazil. Now we were free to bomb San Diego, which, after destroying, we captured and then razed to the ground. The next target was the Brazilian Caribbean city of Salvador da Bahia. Next along my path of destruction was the American city of Baltimore, which I then captured and razed to the ground. Also that year, our troops in the east captured the Hungarian city of Obuda. By now, Norway had brought troops into our Incan province. Couldn't have that, so we dropped the bomb on Sarpsborg. We still had time and resources that year to also bomb the Hungarian city of Szombathely, which we captured right after. In 1903, we captured the French-controlled former Indonesian city of Surabaya. Next, the Hungarian city of Eger got the bomb. Next was the American city of Los Angeles, a city captured soon after and then razed to the ground. That was followed by the Brazilian city of Maceió. After that, it was the Norwegian city of Kristiansand. Soon after, we hit Norway again. This time, we dropped the hammer on the city of Hamar. In 1904, we captured the Hungarian city of Eger, and then dropped the bomb on Tatabánya, which we captured and razed to the ground. Then we dropped the bomb on the city-state of Samarkand, and we razed it to the ground. The next city targeted for destruction was the Norwegian city of Bergen, and then next on the list was Skedsmo. Our Western fleet captured Charleston, a city that had been rotting in fallout for a few years now, and razed it to the ground. Moments later, we captured Washington. It had also been rotting, but because it used to be the American capital, we had to hang on to it. New York, home of the Eiffel Tower, was in range of our nuclear submarines, and yeah, it received the bomb. Then it was time to hit Brazil. Rio de Janeiro got bombed. After that, we gave it to Fortaleza. Then it was Porto Alegre's turn. In 1905, one of our robots of death captured the Hungarian city of Mohacs. Then we bombed the city of Diósgyőr. We skipped the diplomacy screen altogether with Australia and just went ahead and dropped the bomb on the former Zulu city of Mngungundlovu. Our robot walked in and razed the city to the ground. Then it was the Brazilian city of Belem's turn. We razed it to the ground. Salvador da Bahia, razed to the ground.
You're stealing, right to jail. You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away. You're driving too fast, jail. Slow, jail. You're charging too high prices for sweaters, glasses. You right to jail. You undercook fish, believe it or not, jail. You overcook chicken, also jail. Undercook, overcook.
Rio was captured and, of course, we had to keep it. Then our forces in Africa captured the French-controlled former Indonesian capital, Majapahit. Then we bombed the Hungarian city of Szeged. We also bombed the Norwegian cities of Tonsberg and Drammen. Our robot in the west captured New York and, Eiffel Tower and all, razed the city to the ground. Then we bombed the Norwegian cities of Ålesund and Namsos. Next, it was the Australian city of Melbourne. At the end of that year, there were an absurd amount of military aid requests which made me giggle. Sorry, world. You're a little too late. Some of them passed, but some of them actually failed. The Portuguese and Polish had the good sense, or poor instincts, depends on your perspective, to not let the World Council force them to get involved. In 1906, it was time to fully defy the Geneva Convention and drop the bomb on, you guessed it, Geneva. Our Atlantic fleet then captured the Brazilian city of Maceió, and for some reason, we kept it. Then one of our robots captured the Australian city of Melbourne, which we razed to the ground. Our troops in the east then captured the Hungarian city of Szeged and razed it to the ground. Then we dropped the bomb on Székesfehérvár and captured the city. Then we dropped the bomb on Vatican City. And then we hit the Australian capital city of Canberra. By now, we had exhausted our nuclear stockpile. The game was ending soon, but that didn't mean we couldn't build national parks. We celebrated the destruction of the world by building our final one around our capital city of Pella. Our forces in South America then captured Fortaleza and razed it to the ground. Then, in 1907, our tiny space capsule reached its destination and we won the game. So, what did I learn? I say that you make your own fun. I could have rode this game out and won a science victory probably without a sweat. Instead, I wanted to have a little fun like I never really had before because my mind is usually focused first and foremost on getting the victory. I waited until a bit late. My exoplanet expedition had already launched, but when I decided to go for the full nuclear option, this game got really fun and interesting for me. In total, I dropped 48 nuclear bombs on 7 different civilizations. I razed 29 cities, 28 of them in the information era. It wasn't until I had dropped my 44th nuclear bomb that the rest of the world decided to do anything about it. I made a video recently praising the Civ 6 AI, but here now was another huge vacuum for the human player to exploit. The AI nuclear response is slow and inadequate. The AI is too kind and does not share the spirit of mutually assured destruction the way humans do. Let this be a lesson to the kids out there. Nuclear conflict should not be an option in this version of reality. But in alternate versions of history, oh man, so much destruction, so fun. Playing the huge Earth map is also super fun. There is something about the random map generator that just never fully captures a world quite like our own. It gives a really nice feel to an easily imaginable alternative to history. Turning off the true start location as well is a really cool and fun way to mix things up and keeps things interesting. Alexander and the Macedonian Greeks are a military civilization, that's obvious. Their unique units are great, as is their unique building. What's so funny is that, unlike other civilizations, leading Alexander of Macedon, players are encouraged to stay at war. There are nice little bonuses that almost go unnoticed, like the fact that your army heals if you capture a city with a wonder, so no real incentive to build wonders on your own there. Also, you get eurekas and inspirations when you capture cities depending on what kind of infrastructure they have, so the bigger the city, the better. Or you can do like me and just destroy everything in sight, just as good. I want to give one last shout out to the Aztecs, masters of continental Europe. They didn't exactly roll over like the Germans did, strong and worthy foes that impeded my advance, although I had really stretched my military, and they forced me to settle for the lesser satisfying win, but still a win. I was a feared and ruthless leader in a game I won't soon forget. One day I might even test out this strategy from the get-go and see what happens, but for now I will settle for having built an empire to stand the test of time. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep playing and making your own civilization stories, your own amazing paths through history, and I'll see you next time.